On the edge of explored space, the human colony of Aurora Prime was under siege. Alien raiders, vicious and technologically advanced, tore through orbital defenses, their weapons scorching the sky. Colonial Commander Ilara Voss watched helplessly as warning sirens blared. "We can't hold them much longer," she shouted over the comms. With trembling hands, she activated the colony's long-range transmitter. "This is Aurora Prime. We are under attack by the Xytherian raiders. Request immediate assistance. Repeat, immediate assistance." Across the galaxy, the signal pulsed into the dark, a desperate cry that would awaken something no one had anticipated. 2. A calm response. Moments later, distant sensors on the raiders' ships picked up a massive energy signature approaching at impossible speed. Captain Max Hayes of the USS Resolute leaned back in his chair, sipping coffee. "Looks like we've got neighbors in trouble. Let's see if we can lend a hand." Lieutenant Sarah Kim frowned at the display. "Captain, they're Xytherian battle cruisers. Entirely hostile. Do you realize what you're saying?" Max smiled. "Exactly. Let's go introduce ourselves politely." 3. First contact. The humans arrived silently, their fleet sleek, precise, and glowing under distant starlight. Alien scanners went haywire. Ships fired warning shots, weapons misfired, shields flickered uncontrollably. Commander Varkon of the Xytherian strike fleet barked, "Identify yourselves. Prepare to be destroyed." Max sipped his coffee, raising an eyebrow. "Identify ourselves? Sure. Humans here. Sorry we're late, traffic was terrible." One small cruiser exploded from system failure. Another collided with its escort. The raiders were in chaos. Sarah muttered, "We didn't even fire a shot." Max shrugged. "Humans are good at accidents and intimidation." 4. First impressions. Across Aurora Prime, colonists stared at the approaching fleet in awe. The humans didn't scream, didn't panic, and didn't attack recklessly. They simply arrived, calm, confident, and terrifyingly capable. What are they?" whispered a raider officer. "I don't know," another replied, voice trembling, "but they terrify me." From the bridge of the Resolute, Max leaned back. "One fleet, just the start. Let's see how the galaxy likes humans." The Xytherian raiders scrambled to engage the human fleet, expecting an easy battle. Their weapons charged, shields shimmered, and command officers barked orders. But every move seemed to fail. Weapons misfired, engines misaligned, and smaller cruisers collided with one another. Panic spread across the raider formation like wildfire. Commander Varkon slammed a claw on the console. "How can one fleet, cause this much chaos?" On the human bridge, Captain Max Hayes sipped his coffee, unbothered. "Looks like they're a little stressed," he said casually. Lieutenant Sarah Kim pinched the bridge console. "Captain, they're panicking over nothing." Max grinned. "Nothing? That's the beauty of humans. Accidental terror." 2. Casual destruction. The humans moved forward, but not aggressively. They didn't aim, they didn't fire first. Yet as they passed, Xytherian ships failed spectacularly. Shields collapsed, engines exploded, weapons systems overloaded. Rafik, manning the controls, accidentally activated a minor targeting system. One raider cruiser spiraled out of control and collided with another. Sarah groaned. "We didn't even do anything, and yet they're losing." Max shrugged. "Polite intimidation. Works every time." 3. Alien diplomacy fails. A holographic envoy appeared aboard the USS Resolute, towering and metallic, its circuits sparking. "Humans! Cease your advance. Submit immediately." Max raised an eyebrow. "Submit? Oh, we don't really do that. Can I offer coffee?" The envoy froze. Alarms went off on the raiders' ships as another cruiser exploded without explanation. They are laughing at us," one officer whispered. 4. Humans' accidental genius. Every attempt by the Xytherians to engage the human fleet failed. Small skirmishes ended in disaster for the aliens. Weapons misfired. Ships collided. Command protocols malfunctioned. Sarah shook her head. Captain, we're destroying their fleet without even fighting. Max grinned. Improvisation. That's humanity's specialty. 5. First victory. By the end of the skirmish, several raider ships were disabled or destroyed. Aurora Prime's orbit was secured. Alien officers were humiliated and terrified. Max raised his coffee mug. One fleet, and already they know not to underestimate humans. Rafik laughed. Polite, terrifying, caffeinated, classic humans. Word of the human fleet's victory over the Xytherian raiders spread like wildfire. Neighboring systems scrambled their fleets, sending messages of warning and disbelief. Humans, one fleet, defeated an entire raiding force? Meanwhile, from deep space, 10 more human fleets appeared on the edge of the system, sleek, massive, and glowing under the starlight. Captain Max Hayes sipped his coffee on the bridge of the USS Resolute. Morning, everyone. Meet the rest of the family. Lieutenant Sarah Kim pinched the console in disbelief. 10 fleets, you didn't tell them? Max shrugged. Surprises make life interesting. 2. The aliens panicked. The Xytherians attempted to regroup, forming defensive formations. Every move ended in disaster. Ships collided. Weapons systems misfired. Engines failed mid-battle. Commander Varkon screamed orders, but no response came. The alien fleet was unraveling faster than they could comprehend. Rafik tapped a console, activating a minor liberation protocol. Immediately, the colony's orbital defenses reactivated, and captured stations fell into human hands. Sarah groaned. We're not even trying, and we're winning. Max grinned. Human improvisation, terrifying, effective, and polite. 3. Liberating Aurora Prime. The humans began systematically clearing raiders from the colony's orbit. Colonists cheered from observation decks as raider ships exploded or malfunctioned spectacularly. Human crews operated with casual efficiency. Minimal casualties. Maximum psychological impact. Smiles, coffee, and calm command. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. Humans are unpredictable, fearless, and unstoppable. 4. Alien diplomacy fails again. A Xytherian envoy appeared on the Resolute's bridge. Humans, cease your actions immediately. Max tilted his head. Cease? Sorry, can't do that. Coffee. The envoy's circuits sparked violently. Another raider cruiser exploded in the distance. Casual, polite, and utterly terrifying. Sarah muttered. We're systematically dismantling their fleet, and they can't even understand it. 5. The Galactic Lesson. By the end of the day, 10 human fleets had arrived, overwhelming the Xytherians. Aurora Prime was fully liberated. Alien commanders were humiliated, terrified, and unsure how to respond. Max raised his coffee mug once more. 1 fleet terrifies them. 10 fleets? They'll never forget humans. Rafik laughed. Polite, terrifying, caffeinated, classic humans. On the Xytherian flagship, Oblivion's Edge, Admiral Varkon paced frantically. Reports streamed in. Fleets destroyed, orbital stations liberated, and entire systems disrupted. Impossible. They are only humans. Varkon shouted, claws slamming the console. His officers trembled, whispering. They are terrifying beyond comprehension. Varkon roared. Send everything. I will personally crush them. 2. Humans remain casually unfazed. A massive hologram of Admiral Varkon flickered aboard the USS Resolute. Humans, cease immediately or face total annihilation. Max Hayes leaned back in his chair, casually sipping coffee. Annihilation? That's a bit dramatic. Hi, I'm Max Coffee. Lieutenant Sarah Kim groaned. Captain, please don't provoke him. Rafik waved cheerfully. Nice ship. Mind if I poke a button? The hologram flickered violently as alarms erupted across the Xytherian fleet. 3. Accidental humiliation. Varkon unleashed his personal strike fleet, massive cruisers, orbital cannons, and energy platforms. Max, idly pressing a button marked, "Do not touch," triggered a chain reaction. Weapons misfired. Shields collapsed. Ships collided spectacularly. Sarah pinched the console. "Captain, we didn't even aim." Max grinned. "Improvisation. That's human genius." Across the galaxy, whispers spread. How can one species dismantle an entire command fleet without even fighting? 4. Colonies cheer. While Varkon raged, human fleets broadcast liberation signals to occupied colonies. Systems cheered as alien garrisons failed. Occupied worlds regained freedom. The Xytherian leadership was humiliated across the galaxy. Max leaned back, raising his coffee mug. 1 fleet terrifies them. 10 fleets humiliate them, all while staying calm. Sarah muttered, "We're turning an empire inside out, without firing a single shot." 5. The supreme lesson. By the end of the confrontation, Varkan's personal strike fleet was obliterated. Colonies liberated. Alien leadership demoralized. Humanity's legend grew. Fearless, unpredictable, and casually unstoppable. Max smiled at the stars. Humans don't fight to destroy, but when we do, the galaxy remembers. Rafik chuckled. Polite, terrifying, caffeinated, classic humans. The USS Resolute and its accompanying 9 fleets drifted lazily through space, coffee mugs balanced on consoles, crew chatting as if nothing extraordinary had happened. Behind them, the Xytherian forces were in complete disarray. Fleets scattered, some self-destructing. Colonies once oppressed now celebrated freedom. Alien commanders whispered warnings. Never underestimate humans, never. Lieutenant Sarah Kim stared at the comm feed. "Captain, we've changed the balance of power across half the galaxy." Max Hayes grinned. "And all without breaking a sweat. Humans excel at casual dominance." Rafik laughed. "Polite, terrifying, caffeinated, that's our legacy." 2. Varkan's desperation. Admiral Varkon raged aboard the remains of his flagship. "They are leaving?" he bellowed, watching the human fleets slip past the shattered defenses. Every attempt to intercept them ended in catastrophic failure. Weapons misfired, ships collided, and command protocols malfunctioned. "How can one species destroy everything while barely trying?" Varkon roared. 3. Human casualness. Aboard the Resolute, Max plotted a course toward a distant nebula. "Anyone up for brunch? Hopefully somewhere quiet this time." Sarah pinched the console. "Quiet? In our galaxy? After what we just did?" Max shrugged. "Galaxies change. Humans move on." Rafik tapped a console. "Also, we liberated more colonies than I can count." "Heroic. Heroic, accidental, and terrifying," Sarah muttered. 4. A galactic lesson. As humans left the system, stories of 10 fleets spread across multiple star systems. Alien species realized humans cannot be predicted, intimidated, or underestimated. Formerly oppressed civilizations sent messages of gratitude and pledges of alliance. The galaxy learned a new truth. Humans are fearless, clever, unpredictable, and casually unstoppable. 5. Closing beat. Max raised his coffee mug, staring at the stars. 1 fleet terrifies them. 10 fleets, make them respect humans forever. Sarah shook her head, smiling. "You really do leave a mark everywhere, Captain." Rafik laughed. "And they'll be telling stories about us for generations." The legend of humanity spread, a quiet, casual, unstoppable force that changed the galaxy forever.